Përshëndetje and welcome to Inside Albania with me, Alice Taylor. This week, my guest in the studio is Jorida Tabaku. Now, she is an Albanian politician, a member of the Democratic Party, former deputy mayor of Tirana. She studied business in Tirana. She then studied at Durham University in the UK, and she has a doctorate in economics. We're going to be talking about her entire life story, her journey through politics, and how she sees the future of Albania. Jorida, welcome to Inside Albania. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you very much for the invitation. It's very nice having this conversation together.
I've been waiting to have you for a while, and I'm glad the time has finally arrived. I want to start at the beginning. So, like every Albanian always asks, where were you born? Where are you from originally? Tell me about your upbringing, especially, in the later years of communism and what you remember from then.
It is very nice to have the opportunity to talk a little bit also about myself, because we normally do politics and people perceive us as political beings without having the opportunity to know us. I was born in Tirana. I'm not ready to tell the year. People can find it by Googling, but still, I was born in Tirana with a family. I'm very, very localist because both of my families, my mother's and father's, Tabaku and Turdio, they are both from the city. They are founding members. There is also a small bridge here, Tabaku's bridge, somewhere in the city. I was raised in a family where my grandfather was politically persecuted. He was in Savr of Lushnja, and I was raised with his storytelling about the communist system. When communists fell, I was about 10, 11 years. So it's not that firsthand I experienced what the system was. Of course, I knew it, but it's not that I experienced it on my skin. While the stories of my grandfather explaining to me that he was a university professor. His family and his brothers are among the founding professors of the university, Polytechnic University. And he was persecuted in Savr of Lushnja, and he was teaching in this small village. My mother was not allowed to continue higher education. She was one of the best students of the class, and she was obliged to work in agriculture, to work in a field. And this have engraved me. This have been reasons for me to see things from a different point of view. I am not sure if I can transmit this to my kids. I have been hearing this in first person from my grandfather, but trying to do it to the kids when you have not suffered it on your skin is a little bit different. My mother's story has been a model for me. She continued higher education after the 90s. She was with 3 kids and she continued higher education. My grandfather came later in Tirana and he still continued to teach. So it is a personal story in the family from my mother's side, but also from my father's side. They were persecuted. He was my grandfather was a business person, and his properties were confiscated. So I was raised with the idea of a system that was draining the country, of a system that was not how a lot of people perceive it, idealistically. And the challenge for me is trying to bring this also to my kids, to speak about communism, to speak about the past. And
how do they react? Like when you explain to them, like my daughter, for example, I mean, I'm not Albanian, but I do teach her, what's happened. And she saw the documentary I made about Musine Kokolari, and then she wanted to go take flowers to the grave. She has so many questions, and she's like, but I don't understand why Enver Hoxha did these things. How do you explain that amount of evil in like an age-appropriate sort of way?
Jorida is about the same age of my kids. So they are at an age where they make you a lot of questions. They ask about everything. And of course, when you explain to them about the system, it's a little bit difficult to perceive for them. Also with the toxic culture of iPads and cell phones and a different world where they don't live what I left. what I have lived and what I felt. I don't know if you have seen it, but there is a book of Konrad Adenauer Stiftung which speaks also about Musine Kokalar. It's for kids, and also other institutions have tried to bring this communist reality, but also taught for kids. I'm sorry that this is not taught in schools. You cannot teach. You have to put this in a curricula, because you cannot teach the past of a country without explaining to the kids 45 years of the life of a country. My biggest regret is that I haven't been able to bring them to Spatch, and that is one of the things that I want to do.
We'll take them together.
But the thing that I feel good about is that my 6-year boy, Dren, when you speak about communism, says that communism is not good.
Yes. Yeah.
So it is something that it is a challenge to transmit it to them, but it is something that both me and my husband do, not on a daily basis, but every time that we can.
Yes. No, it's a shame it's not taught in schools. Like, there's a whole generation of children growing up carrying like the intergenerational trauma, but not knowing why it's there.
Now we are like 34, 35 years after communism fell. 3 generations have changed, and a lot of this is transmitted through personal stories. But this is stopping now because the generation that was politically persecuted is not living anymore.
Yes.
So school education has to do something for that.
It's not, and it should be. But what was school like from you? You came from a family of intellectuals, of professors. What was your favorite subject?
Mathematics.
Really?
Strangely
enough. That's my worst. I loved algebra because it's logical and it has letters in it, and I liked things with letters, but maths, absolutely not.
Everything, math, geometry, algebra. My grandfather has engraved this in me.
Hence then studying economics later on.
I wanted to study law though, but this helped a lot.
Did you have a particular teacher or someone that really stuck in your mind when you were at school, good or bad?
So there were a lot of teachers during my life, but the best lessons I've learned in the house. Because when I was young, I mean, at the age or 7 or 8, my old private house, I mean, it was like one of the old Tirana-style houses, was demolished, and an apartment building was reconstructed there. I have lived with my mother's family, grandfather and aunts for a long time. And my best teachers were, first of all, school-wise, my grandfather and grandmother. They were both teachers, and they have both with me, my brother and sister, worked very hard. But also my 2 aunts. I have a very little difference with them, small difference with them, 5 years with both of my aunts, so 5 and 7 years. And they have opened my mind, my heart to things which my friends were not exposed to. So I consider them my best teachers. They still are. My aunts are still my best teachers.
Now, I want to ask you, and this is one of those questions that I hate asking and being asked, but I do actually find it's quite realistic. You have 3 children, twins and a young son. You have a very important job, a high-pressured job. It's a job more so than mine that you can't switch off from. It's not a 9 to 5. You don't finish at 5 on a Friday and go, I can relax now, you know? And I hate this. How do you juggle motherhood? Because people say, you never ask men that. But it is hard. It is hard to raise children and to work in a job which is high-pressured, which is demanding, which doesn't have typical hours. How do you balance this? How do you also explain to your kids? Because I have with Deus, mummy, you're always working, and I'm like, I'm doing it for you, you know? How does that work in your family dynamic?
When we were speaking about this interview, you told me that I'll send the timing a little bit later because I'm picking up Dea from school. And I told you, yes, priorities. You can't just do everything. You have to set up priorities. I have given up on the idea of being perfect, of doing everything perfectly. But on the things that are important for me, I set up my priorities and I commit 1,000%. It's not easy, it's difficult. I mean, we wake up very early, you have to get them ready for school. All the day you have to plan who does what. We start the day with my husband, who does what, and we finish it with who does what the next day. The work, as you said, is quite engaging. It's not only the fact that you cannot switch off. And sometimes it is also psychologically engaging.
Yes.
I cannot detach myself from what I hear all day. I cannot detach myself also from people's problems. They stay with me, and I think over and over. When I put the kids to bed, I have to read, because the next day we have committees, laws need to be read, constituents, people who send you a message, who ask you all the time. I'm trying to talk to the kids now a little bit more about work. I've tried, both me and my husband have tried to keep them a little bit separated of what we do. But 2 years ago, when we went to vote for local elections, 2023, I left them with my mother, and I said to them, we'll just be like 10 minutes out, we will vote and we'll come back. And they started, what is voting? And we had to explain to them what is voting. That mommy, to do the job that she does, needs to be voted. And then we spent 2 hours, and then we went to vote after 2 hours with all the questions of what being voted means and what can I do. And since then, during the last 2 years, trying to talk to them, I have invited them to school a couple of weeks ago, also in Parliament, trying to learn to them, teach them that politics is a tool to change things. And they are a little bit sad when I go out when they are at home. I have meetings in the constituency at 6, at 7, or an interview or something. And when they get back from school, they ask me, are you going out for work today? Or will you stay also to have tea with us? So it is something that it's challenging. I have given up of being perfect. I've given up of trying to do everything, just focusing on the priorities.
I guess I'm a bit luckier in my job that I can take Dea with me sometimes. She comes here, I take her when I go filming and things like that, so I have that sort of flexibility. But yeah, I get do you have to work tonight, Mummy? Do you have to go out? Can I come? Why can't I come? But then I try and explain to her, I'm doing this, a lot of it is for you. I want you to be proud of me. I want you to have a nice future. It's you are motivating me to do my best,
You have explained it perfectly. I want them, when they read about me, to be proud.
Yes.
And I don't know in your case, but in my case, they have made me a better person, because now I have this benchmark. I have them that they will judge me. So I want to do more. For this year, for the political electoral campaign, we have kept them out of Facebook, of Instagram. If I wanted to post something with the kids, they would be with their backs.
Yeah.
But this year, I try to involve them more, because we decided with my team that I have to show to people my 24 hours.
Yes.
They have to understand
you're a
that,
normal person.
Yes, I am a mother at the end of the day. I also, of course, go to Parliament and do the political fight, but I'm not a stone.
Yes.
I have a family. I wake up very early in the morning. I have to sometimes even cook donuts, because they want donuts for breakfast. And I tried to be a little bit more present also with the family, to show to people that politics, it's not what you see.
Yes.
It's much more what is behind. And having a family, having kids also positively influences also on politics.
But I think politics as well, it's brutal, it can be vicious, people write mean things, there's negativity online. And has that impacted them or family in any way, or like in the future, how do you hope to sort of balance that? Because this is one of the problems I had with journalism, especially when I was doing investigative journalism, is when it crosses over into your real life and people say bad things to you in public, or they threaten you and things like that, and you have a kid, it made me reassess a lot of the things that I was doing, because I was like, it's not just about me now. I have to think about how these things might affect her. If I have some freak turn up outside my house, as is what happened one time, and I have a 3-year-old. This is kind of how has this occurred yet, where, the negativity has crossed over into the family life, or how might you manage that in the future as they get older?
To say no, I would lie. It really has.
Yeah.
If this negativity is done towards me, it's not that I don't care, but I try to manage it. I try to manage it with myself. this red line going to the kids and to the family is passed, for me, there is no compromise on that. During the last 3-4 years, also because of the discussion in the party, sometimes that was crossed.
Yes.
And there is no compromise. When someone speaks about my kids, I either reply or block it or take it out of Facebook. At the end of the day, I am a politician. It's not normal to say that I have signed to this, because this shouldn't happen, but it's happening. But if this goes to my kids and family, I will not allow it. We try to keep them out. They don't have social networks. They are very, very little now. But we try to limit screen time. We don't see news when we are at home. So we try to keep them out of this. But for me, this is a red line which I will not allow to be crossed.
Yes.
Not at this age, but even when they are a little bit grown ups, I will try to keep them out of this. It is a pity because politicians have a little bit learned to live with this, and it shouldn't be like this.
No, it shouldn't. It shouldn't be the normal just to sort of suck it up and try and get on with it, you know?
There have been moments, especially during the last 4 years, I chaired an investigative committee on incinerators where people were even very emotionally against, because of the language that politics has. This is also transmitted to the militants of the party.
Yes.
And I would have people writing to me messages in Facebook, even threatening, especially during the investigative committee for incinerators. And you feel threatened.
Of course, it takes an emotional toll on you as well, that you also have to try and not make visible to your kids as well.
Absolutely. It happened one night that this very long committee finished at 2:00 in the morning. ardhmja was there, a testimony, and a lot of messages in Facebook, a lot of SMSs. And I went home. I was just about to cry with my red eyes, and I told to my husband, I don't know why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
You question yourself, but then you wake up the next day in the morning and you see your kids that sometimes their teacher tells to them, your mother spoke about the pensions and this is a very good thing. And then you find the motivation then again.
I did a talk at my daughter's school a couple of weeks ago about bullying, and we were asking everybody in the class what they wanted to be when they were older. And, you know, I'm there, I'm tired, I've worked like 60 hours that week, and I'm here talking to a group of 5-year-olds, and, you know, what do you want to be when you're older? And she puts up her hand, she's like, I want to be a journalist like you. And like moments like that, I'm like, oh, okay, it's all worth it. Yeah, it's all worth it. Maybe you won't become a journalist, but like that makes me feel that, okay, I'm maybe doing something right.
And you are
somewhere.
a good model. It means that you are a good model.
Yeah, I hope so anyway. But she changes her mind. Sometimes she's like, I want to be a policewoman. Sometimes I want to be a hairdresser. So who knows which way she'll go.
Can I say something about this? Because of the passion that I have and my husband have for football, for Tirana actually, we bring them to the stadium and they see all the matches, and the twins like very much football. I don't want them to follow the path that I want. I want them to choose their path.
Yes.
But when they say me they want to be footballers, I say, yeah, but this is a passion. Can we focus on jobs? You will continue with passions. I just want them to choose whatever they want and to be happy with that.
Yes.
So.
Looking back at your career so far, is there anything that you would have done differently that maybe you think, oh, I wish I'd taken a different path, or a mistake or something along the way that sticks in your mind?
Every day. Every day. When I turn my head back, I have every day a regret, every day a decision which I think I should have done differently. Most probably I am an overthinker, but I analyze things a lot. I don't like myself when I get too emotional. I don't like to be on the news for a comment. I like to be on the news for what I say.
Yes.
In terms of the content. I don't like to be on the news for a debate. She said this and he said that. I want to be on the news to talk about people's problems.
Yes.
So every day something happens that makes me think that I should have made it differently. Especially during, and I'm mentioning this for the third time, but the last 3-4 years have been a real journey for me.
But what's been so tough about these last 3-4 years?
You have your political fights with your opponent every day. You're used, especially in the Albanian politics, where the opponent, it is someone you naturally confront and discuss. Having the internal debate in the party was not easy.
Yes.
Because you heard a lot of things from people who were your colleagues, teammates, people you had related and worked on a daily basis, say things about you which you thought were not, first of all, fair, and secondly, not reflecting the reality. But I've learned, and it has been a growth process for me, even to be stronger, but also to see things from a different perspective. In politics, I have had a rule always. I don't say the things I don't mean. Whatever I say is, I prefer not to speak than to say something that I don't mean. And I don't like when others say, yeah, but we said this because we were fighting. So it has been, for me, a very reflective process, especially the internal discussion in the party.
And this split within the party and all of the problems that have come from it, I mean, I think it's fair to say it's weakened the opposition. If we look back 5-6 years ago and where we are now, it's the situation is very different. Like, when you look back at what happened, how do you think it could have been handled differently? Do you think this was the only possible outcome of the situation? Or, I mean, what are your thoughts on this whole situation?
A lot of thoughts on it. It is true, the opposition in numbers is not as strong as it should have been. I believe that a political rotation was due in 2021. It did not happen. It did not happen for a lot of external reasons. And I believe that whatever the international reports say about elections are true. And unfortunately, we have a government that is stopping rotation. And we have a government who is doing whatever it takes to stop rotation. But I am one of those persons that like to see also internally, and to reflect and to see what we can do better, what we can change. And the split in the party has contributed to the perception that the opposition is separated, that the opposition is not ready, which is not true. And I have seen moments where I thought we lost the way, but people were there. Because independently of the difficulties of the past legislative, people have a lot of anger they want to express. People see the future also through the eyes of the opposition, and they want the opposition to be up to it. They want us to speak for them. They want us to offer the alternative that most probably was missing or is missing. So I believe, yes, some of the decisions of last year, so not taking part in the local elections of 2019 was one of the biggest mistakes of the opposition. Giving up the mandates was one of the biggest mistakes of the opposition. They happened about in the same time. What would I have made differently from these two political decisions, which should have not happened? This should also help to the political rotation in 2021. It is that we brought the fight in the party in all TVs. So you could see in a specific moment that people from the same party, two different sides in the party, were debating in TV studios. And they were not talking anymore about corruption. They were not talking anymore about salaries, about the economy,
about each other.
But speaking about, and this is something that we should never allow to do in the future.
Yes, because you give power then to the opposition. You're putting your division out there.
This is what the government wants, actually, to keep away the debate from them. Some of us did this in parliament, some of us did this in TV, and I'm saying some of us, I never did, but some of us did. And this has impacted, but also given the perception that we are still dealing with each other.
So, but where does it go forward from here? I mean, I have respect for Mr. Berisha. He's been on my show. It was one of my favorite interviews, actually, when I interviewed him. But do you think the way forward is new leadership, someone younger. And I say the same to the other party as well. You know, do we need younger leaders that the youth can look at and resonate with and see themselves reflected in? Do you think this is part of what needs to happen in the future, the near future?
The Democratic Party needs to reshape, to reorganize, needs to also be up to the challenges of the society, to speak about the issues that young people want, that the families want, that the middle class want. This is a process of renovating the party that should absolutely happen. We spent the last 4 years saying that Mr. Berisha should leave, but I don't think it works.
Had the opposite effect, didn't it?
You shouldn't say that he should just leave because I don't like him. Fight him. I mean, fight him in the terms that if he's being voted, then you should be voted too. The chairman of a party is being elected by the membership of the party. And the membership of the party has shown their willingness, their support for Mr. Berisha. But what the party should do is also have a team that represents the different issues that society wants to see in a political party. I don't like the age thing. I liked it when I was younger. Now I don't like it.
But it's true what you said, because, okay, corruption, very important. It is important because obviously it affects everybody's lives. But I don't think it's a topic that resonates much with younger voters. They're like, we know there's corruption, but we want a job. We want electric in our village. We want, you know, higher wages. You know, this is what they want. They want to see a future here. Corruption is like this slightly existential concept to them, you know? They don't feel it impacts them.
I totally understand you. And corruption is one issue. Elections is another issue. Or crime is another issue. But it doesn't mean that we shouldn't speak about them.
No, of course.
But there should be a team of persons who should, someone direct problems with elections without solving the issue of elections in this country. We can never go forward, even in the European integration process.
Yes.
But someone else should talk to citizens or put corruption at a micro level. How does it affect you personally?
Yes.
Why salaries? Why you cannot get a job? Why meritocracy is missing? So, we also have to work a lot on the public communication. This is something that we have never worked properly. The other party also, the Socialist Party, also because of their communist past, love propaganda. And this is something, communication is something that we should get better at.
A lot of the parties here and the leaders, they talk at people rather than to them, and they don't listen, and they set the agenda rather than the people setting the agenda.
What I have learned this elections, being also elected personally from an open list, is that our problems are not people's problems.
Yes, this is what I mean.
They live their reality with struggling for a job, difficult to buy an apartment, with high prices. They want us to speak for them. This is why they elect us. And what I heard from them during the last year at least was that I want you to speak about these issues that are important for me. Most probably elections are important for you. Elections are important for the country, not just for me. But we want you to speak about issues that affect our everyday life.
I had this conversation with Fatos Lubonia. I interviewed him a couple of weeks ago, and afterwards
he's really a different one.
You know, the first time I interviewed him was for my first podcast, and it was like 3.5 hour long interview. And I said to him, you know, I want to be able to talk that long today, but we don't have as much time. But we talked afterwards, and I was trying to explain to him, because he has this view that everything is bad, you know, and I was like, you know, I have, like you said, it's almost like I have different spheres. One, my sphere is a journalist, where I'm like, oh, this is not good, this is not good, I don't like this, I don't like this. And then maybe as an activist, where I see improvements in some areas and then not in others. And then there's my own personal day-to-day bubble, where I'm just a mum, where I'm a citizen, and where they're all different, and all the priorities I have and my perceptions of what's good and bad are different within all of those. Do you see any improvement? Do you think Albania has improved in the last 8 years? That's how long I've been here. You must have seen some positive improvements along the way.
Let's put it this way. I don't have anymore the complex of saying, if it's a good thing, it's a good thing. If it's a bad thing, it's a bad thing. I used to have that previously. So you have, of course, to make opposition, but also to offer an alternative. This is not going, but this should go in this direction. I believe that Albania has changed. If it's improved, it's a different thing. What has changed for the better, I believe, it's women representation.
Yes.
Space that women now have, not only in politics, but everywhere. I see young, bright, talented girls who have opened businesses, which I like very much to support, by the way. I have seen chairs, so presidents of boards, so chairs of companies who are actually giving a very good example. In politics, women representation has helped, but I am sorry that sometimes quota is being used also to bring into politics people who wouldn't go through that in that journey through a meritocratic process. And this is something that I think we should revisit. We should change how this representation reflects also the best of the society to be brought into politics, not just someone who raises a vote. I have seen changes in this regard. I have seen changes also in the young generation. They are much more smarter than we are now because of the opportunities, because of the setup where they live. They have much more opportunities also to study outside. I've studied in UK, and for me, I was one of the few people at my level who would do masters in Durham University, which was one of the best universities for management, for business management. Now they have a wide range of opportunities. They have this wide range of opportunities because of the European integration process and the different programs starting from campus, but also exchange ones. What I see is worsening. It's hope, and I see people are giving up sometimes. They are even not hoping anymore. They are quitting, and this is something I don't like. There is nothing worse than killing hope. And this is something I think that we should, the opposition, we should absolutely do something, offer hope to this young generation. In terms of practical things, because this was something linked also with perception and a wider scope, I like the fact that when I go out of the country, they know Albania.
Yes.
I like the fact that when I say to them that I was in South Albania, they ask me, "Oh, where did you go there, me or Himar?"
The reaction has changed, whereas before it might have been, "Oh, now it's I want to go there."
No, when I was in UK, people would ask me, "Where is Albania?" And I would say, "Between Italy and Greece." So this was something that came to me naturally. People are knowing the country, sometimes for the good reasons, sometimes for the bad reasons. As previous chair of the European Affairs Committee, I was not happy when you sit there and they read you these international reports about crime in Albania, about corruption in Albania. When you go in a format and they say to you, you have a mayor which is in prison now, you have a deputy prime minister being accused, the deputy prime minister, previous deputy prime minister with a international search warrant. So this is not a good face for Albania.
No.
Albania can have a huge potential, which I am sorry to say is not being fully exploited.
I try and, I work at Politico as well, and sometimes they publish stories and I'm like, because I'm an editor, but I don't have control over what stories are published or whatever. But sometimes, they might publish something and I'm like, oh, it doesn't sound good, But it's difficult for me because, I feel there's an injustice if we don't talk about the things that are wrong, that are bad, which need to be fixed. But also I don't want to contribute to a negative perception of the country. So I'm doing this juggling act between, showing how lovely the country is and how lovely the people are, and how a lot of what you hear is nonsense, but also, there are problems and we need to fix them as well. It's quite a hard balance to strike.
It is a hard balance, which I have learned to jungle during the last session, but also this one. Being in the European integration process and supporting it does not mean that you cannot speak about issues.
Yes.
I believe that you help the country more if you speak about those.
Yes, I agree.
You cannot make a compromise. Saying the truth is a luxury. It's a luxury that we shouldn't lose. Every time when I go out, I say that in conferences, in panels, in meetings, I say that the reason why we support the European integration process is, of course, linked with the will of the Albanian people and with the normal trajectory of a country that deserves to be in Europe.
Yes.
But we need to fix this first.
Yes.
We cannot export whatever is happening here in the Union, but we cannot even close our mouths and not speak about the problems, because this would not help the country. It helps if we say the truth.
Yes, because if you just gloss over it, then it never gets resolved, you know. But I have a question. I don't even know if we're going to have elections for a new mayor of Tirana now. Who knows what's going to happen there? But when this was on the cards, why didn't you run for the position, put yourself forward as a candidate?
This year has been strange for me. There was an internal race in the party, which I survived. I was elected first woman in the country in the internal vote. There was a very difficult political campaign, which there were moments where you would feel you are down, you don't find the energy anymore. But now all is over and I'm still standing up. It is very important to stand up with your head up, not crawling. It is normal to be sad. It is normal not to always be in a pole position, but the important thing is how you raise up. And I have gone through this journey this year, which was quite difficult for me. The discussion for the municipality of Tirana for me has been closed long time ago. I used to be deputy mayor of the city, and it is one of the jobs which I have enjoyed very much. Being in government, you can sometimes be theoretical, even in the European integration process where I've worked much more than other jobs. But the real hands-on job is the municipality of Tirana. I've learned a lot, but that's in my past.
Yes.
I believe that now I have been elected to go to parliament, to do whatever I do best. This job for me, this is not just a job for me. This is a mission. As we said, it's 24 hours. And I really put all the passion, I put everything in it. And first of all, I don't want to not respect the people's will, because I was just voted. And secondly, to continue in the journey in parliament, which I believe it gives me a lot. Not only satisfaction, but you can really change. With politics, you can really change. Even previously, some years ago, when I was actually mentioned for this, it was not my desire.
The moment's gone. You've done your time in the municipality.
I've learned what I could learn. It is a position with a lot of interests, and I want to keep myself out from everything that not would affect me, but everything would harm my figure.
And another question, who's your role model in politics? Who has given you the most inspiration? It could be someone from the past, someone from the present. Who would it be?
It's very easy to say Margaret Thatcher and Madeleine Albright. But I have tried to read a lot about politics, and I'm reading now this book on Tony Blair. I did finish it, but I'm reading it again because a lot of food for thought.
Yes.
One of the books that influenced me most was Kissinger Leadership, because it gives you 6 different models which you can compare. And I've seen in action a lot of women, a lot of men. But I think I wanted to do my journey. I wanted to be myself, my own personal.
You took a bit from each.
My personal politician.
But is there anyone local who's inspired you?
So people who have inspired me locally are not public people in politics. I am inspired by women who support you independently. Being opposition for a long time, 12 years, 13 now, you question yourself about the people who work in the party base. They have family like us. Sometimes they don't have a job and they come with you, they knock door to door. And women are amazing at this. So sometimes my models are there. are with a small business who strives, who comes to me and explains to me whatever it takes to start a day and finish a day, with women who do this job with passion and support us. And they know they would never be a public figure because I am the public figure. They do it for me. These models have actually influenced me a lot. Local models, people, normal people who put everything for
They
me
motivate you.
to be in politics.
Another question. One of the biggest controversies recently has been this gender equality bill. And I've been watching from the outside, and there's certain bits of the bill that I don't agree with. I'm not going to get into it too much, but a lot of it is to do with protecting women, protecting girls, equality, things that I believe in strongly. And I hear people online saying, oh, get rid of the whole bill, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, but most of it is actually really important. Albania has one of the highest rates of domestic violence in Europe. I learned the other day that there is a gender pay gap in hospitality. So women doing the same job for the same number of hours as a man, there is a 42% pay gap between them. I mean, this is crazy. There are problems which need addressing when it comes to equality in Albania. And I kind of feel like the whole bill has been hijacked because of these couple of phrases to do with gender identity. What's your perspective on this? Do you think there's elements of the bill which are needed, which are important, and which bits are not?
I have tried to be very careful what I say about this law because it has created a lot of debate. And I want to see it in two different phases. First of all, I am a conservative. I believe in a normal family.
Yes.
I have been raised in a traditional family, and I want the same for my kids. What they choose is, I cannot command that.
Yes.
But this does not give me the right to say that other people cannot choose. And it is within their rights. And now I chair the Committee on Human Rights, and I sit with all groups. And this is something very important for me. But also studying in UK, I was exposed a little bit earlier with some of the issues that we are discussing now. How should have this been treated? First of all, the government likes very much to throw at the public, for public consumption, the worst model. And then it looks like they take a step back and they change something, which they didn't change in this case, but it looks like they changed something. First of all, we have an anti-discrimination law, which was very good. And that law could have been enriched and put all the anti-discrimination issues there and not mix it up with the gender issues.
Yes, they're completely separate in my view.
Because they were mixed up, you couldn't even say, because I was supporting Article 6 of the law, which was speaking about anti-discrimination, but then I was not supporting the law in general. But if this change was made in the anti-discrimination law, there wouldn't be any problem. Because of course we shouldn't discriminate anyone because of what they feel, what they see. It was mixed with the gender issue, and it created this debate.
Yes.
What is important in this law, and besides the gender issue, which I don't agree, and I am not 100% fully aligned with that, there are a lot of other issues. Labor rights. Labor rights is a very important thing, which in this law was mentioned for the first time.
Yes.
The pay gap that you mentioned, the unpaid work for women, issues that are linked with social workers for domestic violence. But this law is orphan. Why? Because
you put two unrelated issues together. One, which is, I don't think, let's talk about the UK. I think the UK has caused itself a lot of problems with the way it's approached. You can't even say breastfeeding in the NHS. They don't refer to you as mothers in the doctors. This has got, I'm all for equality, whatever people want to do, as long as it's legal and everyone's consensual, get on with it. And I do think there should be some legal mechanisms in place for people who are outside what a lot of people consider the normal sort of family. For example, we have a lot of foreigners coming to Albania now to live, whatever. Maybe you're going to have a same-sex couple that come here and they want to buy a house together, for example. It might be difficult for them in Albanian law for their marriage to be recognized. I think there should be some mechanisms or something, but I don't agree with I have to be careful because I don't want to get cancelled, you know, but there are certain things I have concerns about because I've seen where it can go wrong in the UK, you know. But yeah, like you said, these issues, it was just mixed together, and the result is that a law which 80% of is very important has now been tarred with...
And what happens with the law is that it comes with a huge financial bill, which was not ready and is not ready. Because first of all, for this law to be implemented, you require a whole network on the ground. You require people, you require investments. And then unpaid work for women is there. And this is something, a personal battle that I will continue.
Yes.
But this cannot be implemented because you need to change the labor code. You need to change the law of social insurances. So just because it is in that law mentioned, it does not mean that it will be implemented.
Yes.
This is why I even ask, let's see the whole legal framework, how we should, for me personally, it's very important to work on legislation for women who raise kids with autism or Down syndrome and stay at home. It is a personal engagement I've taken during the campaign because these women work. They cannot work otherwise, but they work in the house. We should recognize this as unpaid work. Does this law mean that it will happen? This law recognizes the concept, but it cannot be implemented. And in this process, for the European integration, because this was one of the requirements in the process, for European integration, we just don't need laws. We need their implementation. We need norms and standards to change on the ground. And this is something that it's happening for a lot of legislation. We have approved the best legislation on general data protection regulation, but it's not being implemented because structures are not there in place. So we need to make this process, the European integration process, tangible for people, so they see the real change on the ground.
Do you know what I think will make a big difference to women and their ability to work and things? Extending the school day. Like, my daughter goes to state school. I am very happy
Public,
with...
yes.
Yeah, she goes to public school. I'm very happy with it. Her teacher is amazing. Hello, if you're watching, I have to say that.
Those two old teachers.
No, they're amazing. It's tough. It's a very different system to the UK, but it's tough. But finishing at 11:30 or 12:30, I mean, it's really hard. I have to make a choice whether I juggle work and her and struggle, or pay 200, 250 euros a month for an after school. You know, why not extend the day in some way, you know, give them proper breaks where they can run around, let off some energy, reset themselves, have homework clubs after school, bring student teachers from university to do practical hours and stuff like this. Because how many jobs are there where you start at 8 o'clock in the morning and you're finished by 11:30? I mean, it's just not sustainable. And gone are the days where women can afford to stay at home, you know? Even gone are the days in the traditional Albanian family model where the grandparents would.
But this happens once in a while, but not at a daily level.
People have all moved around, and, you know, it's not as easy as it once was to say, oh, the kids can walk home by themselves and then Nonna will look after them, you know? Doing this will make a huge difference. You will allow a whole generation of women to be able to work.
I don't know if we have much more time, but just a few minutes for education. My grandfather and his brothers used to go out of the country to study. I mean, it was 1920s, and my grandfather was so open-minded that he brought his kids to study abroad. And education is something that we have in the family, being raised by teachers and being myself also, that my husband teaching at the university. It is something that we really believe. And what you are saying is a struggle that I had in first person. I had to decide if I wanted to bring, and because they are in two different ages, it was very difficult to organize the twins and the boy to be in the same institution. I tried very much to put them in public schooling. It was not possible with the schedule that we have. It was needed to bring them to after school, but someone should have organized that. And we said that let's find a private education that is also affordable, because with 3 kids, it's not easy. With the third, you get some discount, but
so you have to have 3 kids to get a discount.
to get a discount for the third one. But this is a challenge that Albanian families have. And if it's something that we should invest in education, and when I say invest, it's also linked with the vision. It's not only money, it's schooling throughout the day. where they have a meal there, and it doesn't cost anything to the system, to the education system, to include a meal there and to have an after school. Other countries have chosen it with students who study pedagogic, and they go there and they stay with the kids, they do the homeworks. There are different models which we should see.
Yes.
It's not about the money, it's about the vision.
Yeah, because even having a break, like my daughter tells me, you know, we sit down at 8 and then we have like a 5-minute break to have a snack. And then it's like, I cannot sit still for that long. I am not going to focus for that long. She wants to get up. They need to get up and move a bit, you know, run around a bit, sit down, focus again. And the outcomes, the learning outcomes will be much better.
This is why I believe that politicians should experience in first-hand problems. Being detached from people's problems and reality does not help. Being a mother with kids is the only way you can see things differently. My second principle in politics is never take a decision you wouldn't take for your kids.
Yes, yeah, I agree with this as well. What would you say to a young woman who wants to go into politics? Like, what advice would you give your younger self?
Thank you for clarifying that.
You know, like a 20-year-old Jorida, what would you say to her if, you know, she has a dream of making change or whatever?
When I first started as Deputy Minister of European Integration in 2009, I just came back from UK. Mr. Berisha invited me at the time. The process has just started. I came with the idea that I would change things. When you go and you see the administration, you don't adapt to it, but you see that a lot of change is not possible just by one person. And I believe that in politics is important, first of all, to believe that you can really make it, and to believe that you can make a change, you can bring a positive development, but you should do this with consistency. There is nothing that beats consistency. You must be tired. Sometimes you feel you are not. You don't have the adrenaline, the energy to bring a positive change. But you should continue do your thing day after day, day after day, and give a different model to politics. People require now very much politics with a human face.
Yes.
People now require very much to see that we care about them, and not only when there are elections. And this is my my suggestion. Just don't give up. Continue. It's not easy. It's an upside walk. Sometimes, sometimes you need to also rethink. Sometimes you need to change. Sometimes you need also to adapt. But don't
you have
change.
To have a thick skin.
But don't change in what you think and what you believe.
Now, at the beginning of the interview, you said, you know, it's nice to be able to talk about myself a bit more, and you must have done hundreds, if not thousands, of interviews in your life. Is there a question that you've never been asked that you wish someone would have asked you? You know, something you really wanted to say?
For example, I would just appreciate if someone takes a minute and says, "But how do you feel?
Are you okay?
Are you tired? Do you think that you will be okay as a person?" At the end of the day, as I said, we are human beings. We experience everything that everyone else experiences.
Yeah.
And I hope that people perceive that this fight and what we do sometimes it's not what you only see in the screen.
It has an impact.
It has an impact on the person. It has an impact on the daily schedule. Sometimes I mean, we go through the same challenges, and I know because all women who raise kids go through the same challenges. You wake up very early, you work all day, you do 100,000 things, you have to focus on the family, you have to do other things for work late in the evening, and you cannot switch off.
Yeah.
Next day you have to restart from the beginning.
It's what you said earlier, you know, sometimes I say things like emotionally, and it's like, yeah, sometimes I do the same, you know, because I'm human. I can't be professional all the time. You're going to catch me on a bad day at a bad moment, and I'm going to...
A lot of bad days.
I'm going to say something wrong, or I'm going to swear by accident, and I'm going to tell you to go away, or, you know, you can't be on duty all the time.
You cannot be in a vacuum and detach yourself from whatever happens around.
Now, you said, obviously, being mayor of Tirana is not something that you want to do. You want to continue with your journey in Parliament. But beyond that, would you ever consider being the leader of the party, going for Prime Minister? Where does the ambition go?
I see myself there in politics, and I want to continue for as long people will support me. The moment people will not support me, of course, obviously, I will be out. Never say never. But in my political career, I have had the experience of seeing that things are won naturally. There is nothing that you can impose. You have to do your own battles. You have to experience firsthand. And it is better going step by step, smaller steps, sometimes even backwards, than trying to reach for the moon when it's not time to reach for the moon.
So never say never.
We'll never know what the future will offer, but what is important is that I have started being in the Democratic Party when I was 16 years old, and I will continue to have my battles there. Either I am in Parliament, either I am out of Parliament, and I will continue to fight till last day, whatever position I have.
Jorida, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. This was a very, very nice interview.
I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all for this week. You can watch Inside Albania every Saturday on Euronews Albania, on our YouTube channel, Euronews Albania, or across all major podcasting platforms. Until next time, Mirapavshim!